Hey guys, what's up? It's your boy Youngo here, back at it again with another video. In today's video, we are gonna do Zoko, and today we're gonna talk about manage a credit card, and then we're gonna go to calculate your net worth, and then we are gonna go to open a bank account as an immigrant, and then understand your tax bracket, and that would be the last one we do. So let's go.
Welcome to credit cards. A credit card is one powerful piece of plastic. It can offer you a lot of perks, like buying without cash, boosting your credit score, and fraud protection. Many even offer rewards like cashback and travel credits. It's like getting paid to use your card. Credit card risks. But credit cards also come with risk. They're a form of credit, which means you're actually borrowing money when you use one. Every time you swipe your card, the credit card company covers your purchase. Then every month, you get a bill for what you charge to pay them back. The danger of overspending. Swiping your credit card might not feel like you're spending money, but you're actually racking up debt that you'll have to pay back, possibly with interest on top. If you're not careful, credit cards can be a slippery slope to overspending, debt, and credit damage. The pro tips. So how do you keep this from happening? Money pros know how to use credit cards to their advantage to help their financial situations, and so can you. We'll show you the pro tips to manage your credit card, including how to maximize cashback and other rewards, improve your credit, avoid interest and fees, steer clear of debt. Ready? Let's dive in. But first, it always helps to know where you're starting from. Do your best to answer these next few questions. And don't worry, you won't lose any lives during the pretest.
So guys, there is 5 questions, up to 50 pineapples. But guys, before we get into that, I will remind you again that once you guys take this quiz after going through the material, it is not gonna let you go back and retake it. You had an emergency and had to charge an extra $1,000 on your credit card. You're worried this will impact your credit utilization. What can you do? Pay it off before your next statement comes out. Great job. While every credit card may be different, paying your transactions off as early as you can can help keep your credit utilization ratio low. We'll look at this soon. You made a minimum payment on your credit card and rolled the rest to the next month. What will you likely be charged on what's left over? Just interest. Correct answer. Just interest. As long as you make your minimum payment, you will avoid late fees. However, you will still owe interest on what you didn't pay off. When your interest starts when will your interest start occurring on your $100 purchase? You didn't pay your credit card bill in February and lost your grace period for March. You charge $100 on March 3rd. Correct answer. As soon as you make the purchase. When you roll over a balance from 1 month to the next, you lose your grace period, so interest starts adding up immediately. We'll look at this soon. So guys, let me show you what I mean. So you can take the test on pineapples, but you can't actually.
The
You can't actually. You can't actually go back and change your answers, because this is a test where you cannot go back and change anything. So once you've messed up, you've messed up for life.
The major terms. Before you start using your credit card, you'll want to learn some key info about it. Each card will have its own due dates, costs, and terms that you agree to when you open it. Knowing these can help you start charging on the right foot. 1. Know your due date. If you're going to learn one thing about your credit card, make it the due date. Your bill is usually due on the same day each month, at least 21 days after you get your bill. 2. Know your billing cycle. Every card has a billing cycle, which is a window of time that marks which charges will appear on your next bill. When a billing cycle ends, you'll get a bill for all the purchases you made in that window. Any charges you make after the cycle ends are part of the next cycle, so they'll appear on next month's bill. 3. Know your credit limit. Your card will also have a credit limit or spending limit. This is the most you can charge at once. When you start charging purchases, your available credit goes down until you make a payment. 4. Know your costs. If you pay your full bill every month, you usually won't pay any extra interest or fees. But if you do have to pay, you'll want to know what you'll owe. Make sure you know your annual percentage rate, APR. This is your total cost. For credit cards, it's usually the same as your interest rate. Additional fees. Some cards charge fees, like annual fees just to have the card, that are separate from your April. Find out everything you'll owe. 5. Know your privacy. Here's a slightly spooky fact. Most credit card companies are allowed to sell your information, including info about where you spend your money and how much you spend. This is why they're required to send you a privacy notice every year. Be sure to read this statement carefully and contact the issuer if you have any questions or concerns. Pro tip: you can usually call your credit card provider to opt out of some sharing.
Your billing cycle ended on March 1st, but the bill isn't due until March 22nd. You charge $100 on March 3rd. When is it due? So guys, this is the part where you lose lives. Correct answer: next month's due date. Your billing cycle tells you what charges are on this month's bill. Since you made a charge after a cycle ended, it will appear on next month's bill and be due on the next due date. What does your credit card's APR tell you? Correct answer: your interest rate. For credit cards, your APR is usually the same as your interest rate.
Five. 4. Know your costs. If you pay your full bill every month, you usually won't pay any extra interest or fees. But if you do have to pay, you'll want to know what you'll owe. Make sure you know your annual percentage rate, APR. This is your total cost. For credit cards, it's usually the same as your interest rate. Additional fees. Some cards charge fees, like annual fees just to have the card, that are separate from your April find out everything you'll owe. 5. Know your privacy. Here's a slightly spooky fact: most credit card companies are allowed to sell your information, including info about where you spend your money and how much you spend. This is why they're required to send you a privacy notice every year. Be sure to read this statement carefully and contact the issuer if you have any questions or concerns. Pro tip: you can usually call your credit card provider to opt out of some sharing.
You're worried about your credit card company selling your information. What can you do? Select 2. Call your credit card company to opt out of some sharing. Read your credit card's privacy notice. Great job. If you're worried about your credit card company selling your information, read the privacy notice to learn what info they share, then call to opt out of what you can.
Did someone say free borrowing? We're about to tell you something that sounds too good to be true. Most credit cards let you borrow money for free. This means when you make charges, interest doesn't start adding up right away. How free borrowing works. Here's how it works. At the end of each billing cycle, you get a bill, aka statement, for all the purchases you made during that window. No interest or fees on top, just what you borrowed. You usually have at least 21 days after you get your bill to pay it. Meet grace periods. Most credit cards offer a grace period where they won't charge you any interest between the time you make a charge and when the payment is due. This means that as long as you pay your full bill on time, you won't owe any interest or other fees. You'll only owe what you charged. Free borrowing. Where's the catch? So where's the catch? Glad you asked. As long as you make all of your payments on time, there isn't one. You get a new grace period every month and you can keep borrowing for free. But be careful. If you don't pay off your full bill, you'll be charged interest on what you didn't pay after the due date. Every day you don't pay, more interest is added to your balance. Adding up the interest. If interest isn't enough, there's a double catch. When you don't pay off your full bill, your credit card company does away with your grace period for the next cycle. That means interest starts being added to your charges as soon as you make them. In other words, miss a payment, and it's no longer free borrowing. It's usually really expensive borrowing. A note on balances. Here's a pro tip. You might see two balances on your account. Your statement balance is what you have to pay by the due date to avoid interest and fees. Your current balance is your statement balance plus the charges you've made since your billing cycle ended. While you only need to pay off your statement balance.